Hammer here from Twin Cities PBS with some major developments in the situation with the immigration ICE action in our state. The governor has issued a statement saying, "Mr. President, Minnesota invites you to see our values in action." He said, "Come see how communities from all walks of life are working together, how the spirit of this state refuses to be defined by division or fear." He said, "I invite you to join me and others in our community to help restore calm and order and reaffirm that true public safety comes from shared purpose, trust, and respect." Again, that is a direct invitation from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to President Donald Trump. Also word today from former Governor Arne Carlson. He is calling for a 4-day ceasefire or cessation of protests and ICE activities for the purpose of arriving at an agreement from the White House. I have been in contact with several former governors. I know that they are all talking, communicating, trying to weigh in and bring peace and calm to the state of Minnesota before things continue to escalate several weeks into the ICE immigration action. Governor Carlson is also talking about immediately bringing together Minnesota leadership and form a working coalition involving retired judges, business leaders, academic leaders. Some specific names, he said, retired folks like judges, perhaps. He mentioned former Justice Kathleen Blatz. He mentions Jeff Ettinger. He is a former CEO of Hormel Foods down in southern Minnesota. He's also run for office, was with the University of Minnesota. He said maybe business leaders could work out arrangements that could calm down the current situation and create a buffer between Governor Walz and President Trump. I've been talking to a lot of these former governors, and we'll be featuring them on a new podcast that I'll be launching soon, and also we'll hear from them Friday on Almanac in my story. Also, Governor Walz additionally saying, beyond inviting President Trump, he also says, though, "Let me be absolutely clear," quote, "the state of Minnesota will not be drawn into political theater." He said this Justice Department investigation, sparked by calls for accountability in the face of violence, chaos, and the killing of Renee Good, does not seek justice. It is a partisan distraction. He said Minnesotans are more concerned with safety and peace than baseless legal tactics aimed at intimidating public servants standing shoulder to shoulder with their community. The governor also goes on to say that his focus has always been protecting the people of this state. He says that families are scared, kids are afraid to go to school, small businesses are hurting, a mother is dead, and the people responsible have yet to be held accountable. Governor Walz says this is where the energy of the federal government should be directed, towards restoring trust, accountability, and real law and order, not political retaliation. The final word from the governor's statement: Minnesota will not be intimidated into silence, and neither will I. So there he ends on a different note at the beginning, inviting the president, but at the end saying he's not going to be intimidated. Other governors weighing in. Again, I have been talking to Governor Pawlenty, Governor Carlson, Governor Ventura, and all of them are trying to weigh in and saying there needs to be calm. There has to be some resolution, knowing that Walz and Trump have not done well ever since Governor Walz joined the presidential ticket and ran as vice president with Kamala Harris, and this escalation then, the issue of fraud and the president focusing on the fraud here and then sending ICE surge, and now this possibility of federal soldiers coming to Minnesota and Governor Walz having the National Guard on standby. So we're waiting to see now if this plan to invite the president to Minnesota works, if the former governors weighing in and calling for calm creates any change in the dynamic here in the state of Minnesota. Be sure to tune into Almanac Friday for more, and I'll continue to update here on Substack.